Good morning, everyone. It's a foggy morning here, and the temps are cool, but yeah, it's still pretty steamy out there. But I wanted to show you something that I got. I forgot to show it to you a couple days ago that I got from my secret sister. And that is this little thing here. It smells wonderful. This is wax, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see real clearly, but they're quite textured. But this is a roll of toilet paper. I found that quite unique, and so all she did was stick the flowers inside. But it smells wonderful. I mean, the whole area, wherever you walk around it, you can smell its wonderful fragrance, and it's really quite lovely. And I have no idea if she made it or if she purchased it at a craft place or something, but I just thought that was really quite unique. But anyways, I gotta get to the store today. I'm running low on a lot of items, and so yeah, I'll talk to all of you in just a little while. Hello again, everyone. Well, I was just out in my garden because I got a message from Rick that he wasn't going to be home until 10:30 or 11. So yeah, my trip to the store is going to have to wait. But what I was able to find, yeah, one lonely little Roma tomato. And the only reason I picked this is because I know it's small. It's because it was like nearly just barely touching the ground. I figured, now I'm just gonna bring that in and let that ripen up on my windowsill. But I got a whole lot of cherry tomatoes, and I got some yellow squash and one rather small zucchini. I do have a few more zucchini that are growing, but of course, they're very small. But my zucchini seems to be a little more sparse this year than normal. My yellow squash is really taking off. I'm not saying that I haven't gotten a lot of it, because like I did with zucchini boats, but I went back and I started looking at some of my videos from last year, and I was swamped with it last year. So there is a difference this year. So hopefully, I know they say we're 2 to 3 weeks behind with our season, so hopefully it'll catch up. But I wanted to take you back outside because I didn't have my camera with me when I went out to see how my garden was doing, and I want to show you something. Can you see what's growing in between those leaves? I have my very first pumpkin. Isn't that wonderful? It's the only one so far. But there is music out here in the garden. The music of bees buzzing. I remember years ago, before I ever started getting into gardening, that bees I always thought were such a nuisance. Now I find them a total delight, and I love to hear them and to see them. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of them flying around my pumpkin flowers, and a whole bunch of them flying around my zucchini. So I am just going to let them do their thing, and yeah, I'll talk to all of you in just a little while. For today's devotion, we are continuing in Mark, and we will be reading from Mark chapter 2, verses 1 to 5. And when he returned to Capernaum after some days, it was reported that he was at home, and many were gathered together, so that there was no longer room for them, not even about the door. He was preaching the word to them, and they came, bringing to him a paralytic, carried by 4 men. And when they could not get near him because of the crowd, they removed the roof above him. And when they had made an opening, they let down the pallet on which he lay. And when Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "My son, your sins are forgiven." Jesus saw their faith. It's apparent that this story emphasizes the faith of these 5 men. And there is 3 parts to this story that I want to emphasize. First, these men dared to do the difficult. That is where faith demonstrates itself. It's not going to be easy to bring this man to the Lord. They had to carry him through the streets to get to the house where Jesus was. And when they arrived, they found that the entrance was blocked with crowds of people. But these men were so determined to get their friend to Jesus that they carried him up an outside stairway to the roof. Now, I would imagine that it wasn't easy to carry a full-grown man up a flight of stairs. Yet, they dared to do what was difficult. What an example this gives us of bringing people to Christ. Second, notice that they dared to do something that was out of the ordinary. After all, it wasn't customary to break up another person's roof because their door is blocked and they can't get inside. No, they did what was necessary to get this man to Jesus, and they willingly risked the disapproval of the owner of the house and also every person there by interrupting everything in order to get their friend to Jesus. The extraordinary thing is that Jesus never rebuked him. These men dared to do the unconventional. And last, they dared to do the costly. Someone had to pay for that roof. Can you imagine the owner of this home sitting with Jesus when he hears a noise on the roof, only to look up and begin to see the tiles of his roof being lifted away one by one until a large hole appears with daylight shining through? As a homeowner myself, I can't begin to think what would be going through my head, since I'm sure that they didn't have homeowners insurance then. Someone was going to have to pay to get this roof repaired, which I'm sure these men understood that they would be footing the bill for the roof repairs. You see, they dared to do the costly. That is faith. They laid it on the line, willing to pay the cost themselves. And oh, what a witness this is to what it takes to bring people to Christ. And with that, I want to remind you, life happens. Let's enjoy it. And a life lived by faith will at least have these 3 characteristics: a willingness to do the difficult, a willingness to do what's out of the ordinary, and a willingness to do what may be costly. God bless. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again next week.